So the purpose of my inquiry for my grade 3 class was to really think about providing authentic learning experiences and feedback opportunities by really redefining how technology was used in my classroom. I wanted to make it more effective of a tool than it was currently. I really zoned in on using the Explain Everything app at first on the iPads. So I wanted to use that really to have the students explain their thinking in mathematical and really cross-curricular contexts, art, social studies, anything else. And then have the students learn to provide timely and appropriate feedback to their peers based on a predetermined set of success criteria. So that's where I was headed with part 1. In this video, Olivia was trying to explain her thinking and prove why the object she had chosen was a certain length to the nearest centimeter. Sam then follows up with some feedback to her as to whether he agrees or disagrees with her measurement and why.
We know that the red Crayola marker is 13 centimeters because on the ruler we started at the 0-point line and then we got to 13 and a half, and if we rounded to the nearest 10 it would be 13 centimeters.
I disagree with Olivia because in the success criteria it says round to the nearest centimeter. So if we're at 13 and a half, we would have to round to 14 because 13 or 5 or more above your score.
As a teacher, I recognize that it's next to impossible to conference with every student on every activity, but I love Explain Everything for the ability for it to document the students' thinking, both their ability to dialogue and discourse with each other, but also to look at their misconceptions, and it allows me timely feedback as a teacher to be able to think of what my students know and don't know and where we need to take the lesson the next day. Enjoy this misconception sample.
We start at 0 on our paper clip, and then we got our answer on the paper clip, which is 16.
How we got the answer is we jumped. We see if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Miss Mollahan. 12, 13.
No.
13. 12, 14, 15, 16. 16.
How we got there was 15 jumps, and then we got our answer by jumping. So
yeah, that's it. Bye.
Okay, so the successes that I noted were many. From my students, there was just an increased level of engagement, and their motivation to want to learn and to try new things just went through the roof. So that was fantastic. There was also some other successes just with incorporating technology to help them wonder and think about the world. So we used Skype in the classroom to sort of Skype other people, other scientists, other classes around the world when we had questions about things. And we found some great websites and apps like Wonderopolis and 101 Questions that we could go to and pose questions and find out questions. So I really wanted to raise the level of inquiry in general. We made a wonder wall in my classroom and just sort of tried new things and saw where it would take us. Some setbacks were really having regular access to the iPads. There were only 10. So an effective file management system was another sort of setback. Kept me up a few nights thinking about this. Basically, iPads aren't really meant to be used for multiple users to store and file things accordingly on them. Maybe 2 or 3 people, 5 at the most. So rotating these through multiple classrooms in our school with many students, because it's a pretty big school, is a bit of an issue. And finding a way that we're not just going to fill up the memory capacity of the iPads within 2 days of all kinds of things on there was really something that needed to be solved. So I came up with a little bit of a solution that hopefully might work, to have every teacher make a teacher account in Gmail. So for example, mine would be monahanstudents@gmail.com. And then with Gmail, you get Google Drive. So you have this huge capacity to store information. And in Google Drive, which you can see right here, is basically a way that I can file things and have teacher files and a file for each student, and then upload straight from apps like Explain Everything and Keynote and lots of other good ones that we like to use, to have things filed and stored in a way that I can access them, and sort of make a digital portfolio for each of the students. So each teacher can have a Google Drive account that way and make things work. So that was another setback that we had to overcome before these could really be used effectively. Next steps that I want to use for the iPads are to use them in a way to have my students make their persuasive writing a little more interesting. So I've thought of making, last year I started something called an invention convention. So they use their inquiring minds to think of an invention that would make the world a better place. And then traditionally they'd stand up and present a commercial that was full of persuasive arguments to their class, and they'd make a poster. But this year I thought, no. That's way not 21st century learning. So what I'd like them to do is to make their own iMovie commercial. And in that way, we can provide audiences that they could not normally reach. So having them up on, perhaps posting them to Vimeo, and having other students in the school have access to that link so that they can then vote on the videos is one idea. Sharing them with other classes, because they'd be posted there as long as someone had the link, so security wouldn't be an issue. But just trying to provide more authentic audiences and a purpose for making these videos or these commercials. And in that way, it's sort of their media and oral communication piece, and their writing, because they'd have to pre-write and plan and everything all tied into one. So I figured I better learn how to use this iMovie thing before I get them to use it. Although they'll probably be able to do a much better job than I can. Anyways, it's been a fantastic road and discovery, and I think of 100,000 things a day that I'd like to try. The problem is finding the time to do it. So I'm glad I found these few hours this Friday to make this video for you, and hopefully it's a little bit useful, and you can take something from it back to your schools and give it a try. I think I'd just like to thank everyone for participating in this and being part of the super team. Thanks, guys. Bye.